Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have? Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet.
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Ah, sounds disgusting, Holmes.
Disgusting.
Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
Ah, I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us.
네,
You don't
마지막
look well, my young
사건입니다.
man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes, it's my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, because I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
And forget about the dinner? Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
어디 가라고? 하프문 거리? 범인은 바로 너야. 러브님이라고. 나 손가락 다쳤어. 내가 자다가요. 내가 잠시 그림 방송을 봐봐요. 자기 엄지야, 엄지. 그리고 이게 이렇게 해서 내가 잠자다가 이게 손톱이야, 손톱. 손톱이 이렇게 길었어. 찔려버린 거 있지, 여기. 옆부분을. 이게 정말 들어가는 느낌이, 이게 졸다가 이렇게 몸을 뒤척이면서 이렇게 가서, 그래서 잘랐어. 이게 쑥 들어가서 느낌이, 그 느낌이 쑥 들어갔어. 그래서 상처가 여기 이렇게 해가지고 이만큼이 파였어, 지금. 이만큼이 파여서 너덜너덜. 다행히 왼손이라서 게임은 할 수 있어요. 네, 어서오세요.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
목격자는 있나요?
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
증언은 있나요?
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
총성.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
What were the fireworks in honor of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, I appear to have lost track of the days.
내
It is
생일은
May
4월인데.
now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
이 아저씨는?
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And, well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story? Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the
다들
fireworks
조용하네.
started. A few moments after, I clearly heard two gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw two bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the two shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with a gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
인물 묘사. 늙었어. 대머리야. 뭐야 이건? 옷이 더러워. 옷이 더러운 게 아니야? 절름발이야? 왜 절름발이야 이게? 빈곤해 보인다고?
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
미스터 터너? 터너의 목격담. 어서 오세요. 이 못 들어가나? 비켜봐. 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 못 들어가네? 꽃집 아줌마를 가수원입니다. 어서 오세요.
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes, yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
네,
Mrs.
알겠습니다,
Powell,
가수원님.
did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir. I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very
아,
attentive,
이거 손가락
as I'm
언제
always on
날려나?
the lookout for
피가 계속 나네.
customers.
이게 붙어야 될 텐데 빨리.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
이거 아침에 다친 건데.
Locked.
락. 비켜. 그러고 보니까 나 아까 시체 조사를 안 했네?
I'll do anything to save my brother, Mr. Holmes.
Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die. He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound.
뭐지 이게?
A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there.
머리에 총알을 맞았구나. 탐정의 눈으로. 그릇?
A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look.
이게 뭐지? 러버님 물건인가봐.
This shard of wood is quite new. The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance.
열쇠다.
This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
뭐야, 장대? 아이고.
A fairly long pole with a forked end.
교주의 물건? 이거 쓸 데가 있겠군. 문을 열어라.
Locked.
아까 열쇠 받았잖아, 이 멍청아.
Locked.
그럼 여기.
Locked.
라군님 반갑습니다. 이게 뭐지? 거울.
This mirror is turned towards Half Moon Street.
어디를 열어? 어이씨. 문을 여시오. 아, 손가락 쑤셔. 이게 다 러브님 때문이야. 러브님 때문에 손가락 다쳤대고. 책임져.
Locked. Locked.
아, 뭘 다 잠겨있어.
Locked.
열쇠 있었잖아. 아, 신문하면 알 수 있겠구나. 신문 아래.
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
나무 조각. 이씨.
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
열쇠? 아이씨. 다
Oh, yes, Mr.
해보겠는데?
Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
절름버리 터너. 아!
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
나도 참 신기하다. 25%의
That is very
확률을 다
interesting,
틀리다니.
Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you
그랬구나.
mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly.
물 좀 떠올게요. 애들. 홈즈도 쉴 때도 있어야죠. 어이씨, 유령이라 보여. 무서워. 잘게 조각난 종이가 어디 있어요?
There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife is quite sharp. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper.
아이고 어지러. 홈즈 안 보이게 해야지. 홈즈가 탐정의 눈으로 봅시다. 잿더미 뭐가 타고 있어.
The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. The papers are almost entirely burned.
알았어.
I am unable to see what's written here.
두 장, 여러 장이야.
These words are illegible. This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago. The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago.
그랬군. 지팡이.
A perfect match.
이거였어.
So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims.
저 아저씨인가?
The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
아, 집 참 지저분하네. 러브님 집, 러브님 방 같아.
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
그래요? 미안해요. 괜찮아요? 많이 놀랬죠?
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window.
꼬마님 어서 오세요.
The dead body of Kenneth Butler.
특별한 게 없는데?
Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse.
저요?
Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime
괜찮은데요?
scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over
손가락
them.
다쳤어요. 사건? 자, 침대에서 일어났다. 창문을 열었다가 먼저인가? 유튜브에 올렸는데요? 창문을 열었다. 시체 근처로 왔다. 무언가를 집어들었다. 지팡이가 부러져. 3. 저요? 저 50원 벌었어요, 50원. 창문을 열었다. 이런 씨. 다시. 창문을 열어다. 무언가를 자르고 이건가요? 이거 아니야?
No, it didn't happen this way.
다시 일어나서. 아이 몰라. 다시 보기 싫어. 일어나서 창문을 열어다오. 맞는데요. 이거 아닌가요? 맞잖아요. 이건데요. 무언가를 자르고 굴러던지고 이거 맞는데요. 맞다고요. 창문을 열어다오. 자르고 굴러던지고. 맞는데? 씨발 초기화 됐어. 침대에서 일어나고 창문을 열고 시체 근처로 가고 맞잖아요. 자르고요. 불러 던지고요. 이거 맞는데?
No, it didn't happen this way.
이게 아니라니. 네, 나래님. 다시 봐야지. 아하! 오케이. 알았어. 네네네. 네네, 나래님. 네, 그래요. 오케이. 오케이. 침대에서 일어나고 창문을 열고 시체로 다가가고 지팡이를 내려놓고 무엇을 자르고 불러 던졌죠.
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find?
탐정의 눈으로 책 기름때.
I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look. Well now, what a find! A precious jewel, concealed inside a book.
훔쳤구나.
A bracelet with a unique ram's head design, a distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
탭. 터너에게 말을 걸고. 야, 말.
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes. Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
빨리 걷는 게 대수인가?
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Oh, time can pull tricks on you.
내 순위는 점점 떨어지고
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and
제대로
true
말을 하라고.
statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
골동품 팔찌.
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then, and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles.
그랬군.
Constable Merrow was unable to
불러줬어.
see you in the window, as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad.
싫어요.
I'm just a poor man.
눈 안
When I
감아줄래요.
chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an
나도 저 팔찌
opportunity
갖고
to make
싶다.
a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's
저거
all I
사줘.
swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
팔찌에 대해서 조사하라. 경찰서 가래. 일단 집으로 가고. 어제 아니 오늘은 뭐야? 시작 전에 아는데 참여를 안 했잖아요. 이거다.
Here it is. I need to continue my research in my archives.
서재. 박물관에서
That is not the one I need.
제주도 가야 좋겠다. 부럽다.
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler,
마재윤?
was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures.
조작하자고요?
A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
전당포? 우후, 전당포. 나 이거 전당포 아니야? 전당포가 어딘데? 너 왜 거기 있어? 전당포가 왜 있다 이런 데 있지? 괜찮아요? 어디 다친 데 없어요?
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
전당포다. 다 훔쳐갈 테다. 뭘 자꾸 질투난데. 난리.
A flare pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor.
조명탄? 맞아.
A flare pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute
이게
sailor.
고물상이 아니라 시대 배경이 옛날이잖아요. 이 홈즈 배경이. 그래서 다 옛날 거야.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 rams
나
of
이거 사줘.
Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this
아싸,
time,
내일이면
10
머리띠 온다.
years after the theft.
나 머리띠 990원짜리 들었어. 샀어.
It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
아, 나 귀걸이, 이런 목걸이는 비싼 거 하는데요. 머리띠는 상관없잖아요. 어떤 거냐면 내가 보여줄까? 뭐야, 왜 즐겨찾기? 아, 베이비. 뭐야? 왜 즐겨찾기가 사라졌어? 이 창이 없어졌냐고. 아니, 이거 왜 없어졌지? 아, 베이비, 너. 별별 무슨 별. 언제쯤님 어서 오세요. 아니야, 아직. 아, 장바구니에 장바구니 말고 어딨지? 내 정보로 가야 되나? 주문 배송제. 이런 거 샀어요. 어떤 거 샀지? 아, 이거 8번 8번이랑 요거 8번 한 개랑. 아니, 머리끈인데 뭘 염증이 생겨. 피부에 닿는 거 아니면 괜찮아요. 요거 15번 2개랑. 뭐 샀지? 아, 25번 25번 뭐 사는지 기억이 안 나. 이거 126번 이런 거 샀어. 싸죠? 남자 향수야? 남자 향수, 여자 향수 써요. 아, 여자 향수 쓰는 사람 많아, 남자들 중에.
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer.
Oh, baby. 의심 말고 너 내 자꾸 흔들려 야매하고 위아래 위아래 자꾸 위아래로 흔들리는 나 미친 너 내게 말을 했어 미친 너 yeah. 향수 쓰지 마요.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Oh, baby. 아슬아슬 울지 말고 두 명의 피해자
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder.
두 발을 사용했네.
2 out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots. A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt. These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting.
Nothing interesting. Oh, baby. 저요? 아, 나는 조연하네. 씨, 우리 집 가난해.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
내 소원이.
Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say.
겨울에 보일러
It's all a
빵빵
mistake.
뜨고 여름에 에어컨
Calm
빵빵
down,
뜨는.
Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
겨울에
Sherlock Holmes.
너무 떼면 답답하니까
Oh, blimey.
문
All right, Mr.
열고
Holmes.
보일러를
I'll tell
떼고
you everything.
여름에 문을 닫고 에어컨만 틀면 머리 아프니까 문도 열고 에어컨도 트는 그게 제
Good.
소원이에요.
Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw two men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head, and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead, and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
한겨울에도 벗고 있잖아요. 나는 추워가지고 이불 둘둘 말고 있는데.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I
여름에는
didn't know what to do.
더워서 막 선풍기 틀고
Anyway,
문
I
열어놓고
approached the
하는데.
bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. Second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps... It's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
상처가 있네. 응? 눈에 멍들었어. 다크서클인 건가? 스카프. 문신이다. 멍들었어.
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
이거 이번이 마지막이에요.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
Oh, God.
Oh, cat.
You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little
나 오늘
brother had
오징어
become,
튀김 했는데.
I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time.
너무 느끼해서 못 먹겠는
His
거야.
sister had died in a
튀겼더니.
Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into
두 마리
crime.
튀겨가지고.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
사진을 못 찍어서 그런데 맛있어요. 왜 그래? 강도? 귀찮한다.
So, Mr. Chapman, you committed a murder with only one purpose, to obtain a set of valuable antiques.
What? No, that's nonsense.
The only question that remains, where is the missing ring?
I don't know. I didn't do it.
You are a clever one. Do you think that this secret will spare you the gallows? Or prison for life?
Mr. Holmes! But you promised to save him!
다른 결말. 뭐야?
Please believe me, Mr. Holmes. I'm not a killer.
우는데? 울어. 울잖아. 울면 안 돼.
You committed a terrible crime, Leighton Chapman. You killed 2 people with the intention of obtaining a set of valuable antiques.
What? That's a mistake. I didn't do it.
However, your brother Wiggins came to me. He needs you as much as you need him. I have faith that you will not err again, so I have decided that you shall avoid a harsher fate.
Mr. Holmes has convinced me to ease your sentence, but you'll still be imprisoned, lad.
Mr. Holmes! But you promised to save him!
뭐야? 뭘 해도 다 우네.